What's going on, people? Welcome to the player ratings. Almost forgot what it was there. I'm that annoyed still. After a shocking performance against Burnley, it's late. It was already an even later kickoff. It's probably about 1:30 in the morning now, and we're still going. But the show must go on, as they say, man. We've got to talk about individual players and their performances today. De Gea, Mars.
Yeah, one of his worst games in recent memory. His distribution was awful. I think he had one in the first half where I think you and I looked at each other like, oh, okay, he's kind of
Pereira, innit?
Yeah. It was a nice little, pass, and we thought, okay, maybe he'll be doing something. He's worked on his distribution in the last week or whatever, and then everything else was so poor. I mean, partly to blame is our static defense and static midfield and whatnot, and he had no options. But at times he just gave the ball away so needlessly. I also think he could have done a bit better on the first goal. He pulled his arms back and whatnot. Yeah. Nothing you
can roller from flipping Chris Wood.
Yeah, should have seen that one coming a bit clearer and whatnot. Not pulled his arms back. Yeah. Nothing you could do about the second goal. Yeah. It was a really bad performance from him. I give him a 3. It was that bad.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would probably not give it a 3. I'd probably go to a 4 maybe, but I think even that is the same.
Much in it, innit? Yeah, 3, 4.
I think I questioned De Gea and I said to him, has his hunger gone? And I looked at his misplaced passes. He looked like he just, let me just get it out there. Let me put someone else to blame. That's what he did. Sometimes when he's kicking it, there was one ball he tried to give it to Pereira, and I'm thinking, Pereira's got it out muscled.
Yeah, and he just put him under the right cosh with the
yeah. He's putting people under the bus now. Yeah. And I get he's still passionate about, but I just look at it and I think, has he stayed for the money? And that goal, could he done better with Wood? I think the Rodriguez goal, that's just a appeal. Was his positioning bad? I don't know. I just feel like his distribution has let him down for many years. And for me today, yes, it was only 2 shots, but still, man, I can't defend that, man. I can't defend his distribution of the ball. Poor, man.
Okay. Wan-Bissaka, right back.
Do you know what? People are going to be like, still not showing. But I thought a lot of people were disrespecting him tonight, like saying it was poor tonight, and that he should be starting. I thought today in that first half he was our best player.
Yeah, first half I agree. I thought he was good.
He was our best player. No matter how many balls did he give in, and no one was there. The one Martial should have buried. There was one that got whipped across and no one was there.
Dan James, he set up James for the header.
And there's one that the keeper was on the near post. Someone could have been in there, boom, goal. He was our constant threat. Man was doing step overs again.
Second half he dropped.
Yeah, second half non-existent. I think overall, a 5. Yeah. Overall a 5. Yeah.
He could have ended up with a 4 because I thought the second half was really bad, and he is part of a back 4 that did concede 2. Yeah. But what do you think? Do you agree with that?
I mean, I agree with the points made. I do think he was a 4, just because in the first half I think he was helped out a lot by Juan Mata. Mata picked. I was saying to you, linking up well. I saw Mata even giving him some kind of like tips and instructions at one point, kind of telling him, how he likes, how he would like him to play around him, kind of thing. I said to you in the first half, Mata, when he gives you the ball, I know it's not his rating, but when he gives you the ball, he puts it in the exact right place so that you can only make the right pass. And even then, he, some of his passes weren't really, coming off his balls into the box and whatnot. So I think it was a poor performance from him today. So good before.
I was going to say Victor Lindelof next to him because it usually is, but it wasn't. It was Phil Jones.
It was Phil Jones, and in the first half he surprised us. Putting in a lot of good challenges, some sliding challenges, winning a lot of the aerial duels and stuff like that. So it was a complete surprise in the first half. But then he was also part of a really poor defence that let in that first goal and wasn't able to deal with the second. I think everyone tailed off in the second half, and he was definitely one of those as well. But he's definitely not like a scapegoat for.
That's very important to remember. Yeah, people will do that. He didn't put a foot wrong, and even in the first goal that was conceded, which we'll get to, it's Matic and Maguire who don't do their jobs. And I thought Phil Jones would actually play quite well. Well, I say well, just didn't do anything majorly wrong. You don't want to say the word well because that makes it look like he had a fantastic game. But I thought he won some good headers. He did all right. But I mean, yeah. What are you going with?
I think it can be either or, but I'll give him a 5. I was quite happy in the first half, especially with his performances, and he shone in terms of our back line for me.
You can't forget a 5 is not great. It's
not great.
5 literally is bog standard. Like you start. I always say you start at a 5. Do you know what I'm saying?
I would agree with a 5, but I also think he's still part of 2 goals conceded tonight. I thought the second goal maybe because they did a 1-2 and it wasn't quickly to anticipate the 1-2 from Dre Rodriguez and then he got it back. I think he wasn't the fault tonight and he's not a scapegoat and I say Phil Jones is still good enough for the football club, but tonight I thought in the first half he read the game well. He did, yeah. You know what I mean? He got in between the Woods and Dre Rodriguez. Second half dipped a bit, but again, 5 because it was a standard, okay performance. He wasn't at fault for the goals, the initial fault. It was the other centre half, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I think tonight, Bill Jones had an okay performance, just that he was in a bad defence.
Yeah, okay, so a 5 there. Let us know if you agree or disagree with that. And that goes on to Captain Harry Maguire.
Harry Beckenbauer let me down tonight, mate. He let me down massively tonight. I looked at tonight and I thought, I think the pressure's on now. I feel like the people now talking about the price tag, which isn't his fault. You know what I mean? United put a price tag. I always said it from the day one. Did United need to buy 80 million for Harry Maguire? I said there was better options out there. You're looking at Koulibaly for that price. You're looking at other centre-backs that we could have bought for 50 million, 40 million, that were of good quality. But this is what happens. Yeah, English player, premium price. Tonight, I thought that goal should have been there to anticipate the ball. Wasn't there. Second goal today, slow to get to Jay Rodriguez. I think he's getting crucified with this defence. I feel like, you know, the midfield, no protection. Matic is supposed to be the one that's protecting. He lost the ball. He got, you know, in a double header. I think tonight he gets no more than a 3. I'll be real, and I'm one of his biggest fans, man. I think 3 tonight.
Okay, honest from Saeed there, 3 for you?
Yeah, I mean he was part of the mistakes for the first goal, and I said to you at the very start of the game, he just looked a bit shaky, and I think the only really good quality about his game today was what you were saying a lot, was that he really desperately didn't want to give the ball back to David De Gea. He wanted to play forward.
First half as well. I think before the goals went in. Well, the first goal for Burnley, I thought he was quite commanding again as well. He was nipping in here and there.
It's funny.
Everyone kind of was playing all right at that point.
Yeah, was playing all right, but it's funny though because I said to you at the very start that I thought he was a bit shaky. So I think we kind of disagreed on that a little bit. I think 3 might be harsh, but then I don't blame anyone for giving him a 3 because you know he was part of a defence at fault for those 2 goals. But I give him a 4, just about a 4.
A 4. I usually forget Brandon Williams. Yeah. I'm not going to do that today.
It's probably a game to probably you have to forget. Let's be real out here. Non-existent today. I think today he looked stifled. He looked tired today for me.
Wasn't through lack of effort.
Lack of effort, desire, passion, you name it. It's still put out there. Yeah. But tonight, against James, there was no chemistry. He looked a bit leggy for me. He didn't go up and down as much. I don't know, man. It just goes to show again we're relying on 19-year-old Brandon Williams to be consistent every single game. When you're that young, you're gonna have inconsistent games. You're gonna have teams where you just can't break them down. And Burnley, them kind of team, they do a professional job. You know what I mean? Is it Loughton at right back for them?
I think so. Yeah.
And he does a professional job. Just don't get past me. I'm not gonna get forward and go past you. I think today a 4, mate. He wasn't himself today.
Do you agree with that, Mars?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do agree with that. Not for the lack of effort and stuff. He definitely put everything into it, like he does into every game. But today was a game of really poor, a poor defensive line. Tried as much as he could to get forward and whatnot, but he wasn't helped by just the way Burnley play. He wasn't able to get in behind and offer much in terms of an attacking threat, just like Wan-Bissaka. So I think, I agree with that.
Okay, into the midfield, Matic.
Matic was neat and tidy, I'd say, for large parts of the game. We definitely needed someone with his presence in the midfield. He didn't do too much wrong. Like I thought it was quite an average performance from him in the second half. Then obviously you can see.
Well, and in the first half he got out jumped by the 2,
he got out jumped,
and that was initially what led to the goal.
That was actually quite that shouldn't. He should have won that header. He was too weak in that challenge. I know he was up against 2 guys, but just like everyone else, I think he had a very average game, and for that I give him a 5. Yeah.
Agree? Easy. Move on.
I agree, mate. I agree. 5, mate. Just average. Matic, what he gives you, pass the ball right, pass the ball left.
Well, that's all it is.
And that's all it is for
Just
me.
keep things ticking.
That's all he did for me. He did not do anything out of
But there was times he had to play quite advanced because like Burnley was sitting up with them 2 banks of 4. Well, everyone behind the ball because they had the 2 strikers. But Matic was actually finding himself at the edge of the D, like trying to.
Decent balls, I remember, to Wan-Bissaka and stuff.
Yes,
Played a couple of decent, over the top and through balls. So yeah.
So about 5, yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. Fred.
Fred today, I see some of the stats, and I see people like gloating on Twitter about stats. I think stats tell not half of the story. I think he showed energy today. I thought he showed a bit of tenacity. I thought he showed a bit of a fight, but I think the quality today wasn't there. And I'm a big admirer of Fred. I thought, but tonight he just wasn't at the races today. I don't know if again accumulation of games is now becoming he's not even having a rest now, is he? So I don't know. I feel like he didn't link up today with Mato. I just feel like Burnley with a kind of Achilles heel today, where they sat back and they said, break us down. And I think Fred, he's not your player to give you that killer pass. He'll give you the pass to, keep them more quicker, but he won't give you the pass to make a killer one. And
A couple of shots as well today, which you don't really want shots falling to him.
Tonight, I give him again a standard 5, mate. I think it wasn't the Fred that we know tonight.
5 for you?
Yep, 100% agree. I just think he had a few shots as well, and shooting is not his game. What I do like about him is his energy in midfield and being able to pick up the ball and give it off. Take it off Matic, take it off the defenders, and then give it off. So he's still proving to be someone of use in that area. But today, not his best game. I give him a 5.
Andreas Pereira.
Off
at half time.
Yeah. By far the worst performer in our team. None of his passes made it to their man. You could hear the groans from the crowd. I mean, you and I were saying, just get this guy off. Like, if he comes out in the after the second half, then clearly something has gone wrong. And I think Ollie, being someone who's trying to save his job, knew that and just took him straight off. He looked lost. He looked clueless.
Light
went off.
Yeah.
He just everything about his game was so poor. It was so aggravating watching him play today, and for that I give him a 2, which might be generous, but I give him a 2.
And just the decisions to shoot instead of pass instead of shoot. It's always decision making with Pereira. He gets into good positions. I can't fault him for that. He moves well. He's mobile, but it's that decision making and quality that you have to have in that area of the pitch if you're going to play there. Not just for Man United, for any team. If you're going to be a creative midfielder, an attacking midfielder, you've got to make good decisions on the ball in the final third, and he just doesn't do that often enough, does he?
Mate, we got Cleberson 0.2, mate. Cleberson 2.0 today, mate. I don't know, man. Mama's got probably dual nationality for no reason, man. Who wants him? You know what I mean? Like, he got told to go to Granada. They didn't want him back. Valencia didn't want him back, and United are playing him like week in, week out. You know what I mean? We've got the best of a bad bunch now. Lingard came on second half, didn't do anything. Pereira came on.
I know we ain't got to it yet, but I literally did forget Lingard.
Pereira absolutely done nothing.
Yeah.
And he's there putting 30 yards. You know what I mean? Trying to score from 30
I don't know where this confidence comes. Like he hit one against Southampton, I think, last year, which was a great strike. But other than that, one free kick against Liverpool in the pre-season.
Training, fam.
It must be training. The guy next to me was like, training. He must just be.
But nah, I'm not doing this. It's at the Arsenal training ground. I seen him doing little flicks and stuff like that. I said, what are you doing, man? We're getting ready for a big game here, and I seen him was doing flicks and stuff like that. And I get his training ground and all that, but I don't know, man. For me, he gets a 1, man. I'm done with this guy, man. Get him out.
So he was off at half time. All right, let's go to the front 3. Dan James.
One matter.
Yeah, he played on the right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Cool.
I know you like Matter and that. He's
Yeah,
your favourite.
no,
you know what? Go on, have Matter, because I know you like Matter. Go on.
Just trying to slide that one in there. But no. I thought he was one of the better performers today. I thought everything kind of went through him in terms of him giving out, playing the balls left and right, finding the passes, finding the people trying to make runs in behind. I thought without him, we would have looked so much worse. I think in terms of, we didn't do a lot of great, we didn't put together a lot of good attacks, but when we did, it all went through him. You know, whenever Wan-Bissaka was able to put a cross in, it was because Juan Mata laid it on a plate for him to put, you know, a decent-ish cross in. Same, you know, giving it out to the other side. So I think he actually played a pivotal role for me today, and this is no bias. I've been calling for Mata to come into this team, and when he comes in, you know, he shone over the guy we were just talking about. Yeah. You know, who supposedly has more legs and has more energy and more this than you know, him, but he's come on and just schooled him. You know, for me, I give Mata a 6.
6.
I do. I'll be real.
Okay, I agree with some of the things you said in terms of he had a bit of an impact overall. 6. Okay. What are you saying?
I disagree. I think Mata didn't have a great game today.
I wouldn't have said that. Okay, this is interesting.
I think today, again, against a low block Burnley, he had no answers because at the end of the day, there was no people running in behind.
So that's their fault. I knew you were going to.
No.
I knew you were going to. So that's their fault.
Because he couldn't find a killer pass, but because the movement.
Mata's job is to unlock the defence. Yes or no? Mata's job is to unlock the defence. But at the end of the day, I don't blame him down solely to Mata. I blame him down to Martial, again, coming up to the ball. Always wanted the ball in between. Pereira, nowhere to be seen. That's the problem. You've got players in and around Mata that are just not good enough.
Matt had a chance to score himself.
Yeah, he had a chance to score.
I hear what you're saying, but you're naming fault with other players. You're saying Martial didn't do this person didn't do that. But what Mata, when Mata was able to create, he created, and yeah, well, I think, more than most of our other, you know, midfielders. Okay, not for the you know, the whole length of the game, but I think for a large part of it, I think he did.
United had a spell, for me, the best spell in the first half. 15, 20 minutes we had a spell. And Juan Mata buzzed around. Yeah. I get it. But for me, in the whole context of the whole game, Mata was not effective because at the end of the day, there was no people running around. And that is not down to Hole, it's to Mata. But at the end of the day, he's there to create. And I love Mata. He should be starting ahead of Pereira, Lingard, and that just shows where we are right now. We're talking about Mata. For me, his legs are gone. For me, I don't know, man. I'm going to have to give him a 4, man. 4.
4 and a 6. Miles saying it's insane. Man. Tony, do you think Mata played a 5, a 6, a 4? 5. Bog standard 5, flat 5.
5. He wasn't helped.
Yeah.
There you go. What he tried to do, but around him, what could he do?
Tony's gone with a 5 as well. 4. We've got a 5, 4 and a 6. Amazing. What do you guys think at home? We'll put that to you guys. That's what it's all about. Opinion. And then up front, man, Martial. I mean, I could even take this rating. He wasn't good, man. I think he got into really good positions. For me, he has to score. He's got to score. Just like at Liverpool, you get a gilt edge chance. And in Rashford's absence, we need him to step up to the plate. And he looks shot of confidence right now. And you can't say today that it was like he didn't have the chances. He had 2 chances. One on his left where he kind of slide and get a good connection, better connection, that should do well. But the other one, he should just take one touch and hit. Kane's doing that and bagging. Aguero's doing that and bagging. This is the level you need. And then we didn't take our chances. It's not all his fault. Don't get me wrong. But me personally, sorry to take the rating, I'm going to give him a 4.
Yeah,
but I'll go to you. Then.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. I think it's a 4, just about right. I think it wasn't effective in the game. It comes again. That's why I said United need to buy a striker. Yeah. Edison Cavani needs to come in right now in January because at the end of the day, Martial on the left is always been suited to the left. I get it. In moments we've been saying, oh, he's a proper number 9. But we need a proper number 9 that's going to go running behind. He never does that for me. And that is why United are so, you know, we're always in a space, in a little bubble. Mata can't find a space because Rashford's there. I mean, Martial's there, Pereira's there. You know what I mean? Everyone's together. So for me, I don't know, man. 4, man.
Can I say something?
Do you agree with that or not?
Can I say something on that? Is just really quickly is that in the first half there was a moment because you and I were sat next to each other. He tried to run in behind, right? And Pereira didn't see the ball. Yeah. Remember that? Right? I said he doesn't. You and I was talking about, you know, with you because you and I have played as strikers. He doesn't trust the players behind him to put the ball in.
So he's getting frustrated, trying to mix up his game, come off the front, try and get it, just kind of wonder. There was a lot of the time where it's like, if he is going to be the focal point in number 9, I want my number 9 to stay within the width of the 18-yard box. Yeah. Like, you can be fast, you can be quick, you can make runs in behind, but I don't want him dropping off the front too much, unless you're a false nine like a Firmino. Don't get me wrong.
Matic in the base.
Exactly, you don't need to go and get involved. And I just felt when the going got a bit tough, because of lack of options, because of lack of space in behind, he will try and go looking for things. So I don't mind that, but it just didn't work. It just didn't work for me. So 4.
So some would argue possibly a 3, and I wouldn't say no to that.
Okay.
But yeah, 4.
Look, I love Martial, but he didn't have his best game today. Greenwood come on at half. Tony, would you agree with that?
Daniel James got Daniel
Yeah,
James.
I'll do Dan James.
I'd give his whole career a 5.
Yeah, just all hot and cold.
I can't see since we've got him that he's actually improved. So
Okay.
I'll give him a 5 for his whole
Okay,
career.
fair enough.
He's supposed to be our main striker now.
Yeah.
And he's always wanted to be the main striker.
But he shouldn't be.
Every system what he's been put in, and he's not improved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some may say that's down to bad coaching or bad structure, bad players around. Some may say he needs to take more individual responsibility for his own performances. Let us know. Dan James.
Dan James, again, not effective, mate. Running around like a headless chicken. Just not cut out, mate. And that's not down to him. I think he's been hung out to dry by Ole. You know what I mean? What was for me the tactic for Dan James today? Please, someone tell me. What was it?
Well, surely it'll be get it to him, get him running at the left back, the right back, sorry.
Yeah, what time did he have a one-on-one?
Get them turned, but it just didn't happen.
There has to be a game plan. Raheem Sterling for Pep Guardiola. Raheem Sterling for Pep Guardiola. What does Raheem Sterling do to Pep Guardiola? What does Pep Guardiola do to Raheem Sterling? He tells him to stay on the byline. When he stays on the byline, that one for me, when was getting the best out of Dan James. Now it's like, you know what? Let him get involved in the tiki-taka. We don't want that. For me, his touch and his overall technique on close control is just, for me, shy of brilliance for me. You know what I mean? It's not quite there at the minute. I thought today he looked out of his depth, and I like Daniel James. There's a place in the squad for Daniel James. In the squad, first team, no. I think a 1, mate.
A 1?
1, mate. I thought tonight was.
Whoa, less than Pereira.
No, Pereira got a 1 for him.
Pereira got 1.
And I gave him a...
Pereira and
A
Daniel James.
what?
2.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's Pereira and Daniel
got a
James.
2.
No, I gave Pereira 1.
Okay. I thought you gave him a 2, but
No. Pereira.
a 1 for Daniel James. That bad?
I think it was that bad because if you look at it, did he hooked up at half time, did he?
No, not half time.
No,
Pereira
but,
did.
you know, but I thought for me, him and Pereira were most too ineffective in the whole squad.
Okay.
Dan James did not. Can you highlight one
No.
Daniel James?
I did say to Mars a couple of times crossing is just kind of crossing into the guy. I was like, need better end quality from that. But a 1 is like, but all right, fair enough.
And you got to look at the fact that we lost and we also did create large.
Okay, all right. So a 1.
Yeah,
Do
I
you agree with
I
that?
agree with everything he said, but I think Pereira was the worst player on the pitch, which is why he was taken off. Well, I mean, then why weren't they both taken off?
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
but Pereira was the worst on the pitch. That's why he was taken off at half time. I think Daniel James just about played slightly better than him, and looked a little bit more dangerous. I give him a 3
Okay.
because I gave Pereira a 2.
Okay, fair enough. And into the substitutions. You know what? You forget that Mason Greenwood was on for a whole half. Like, he actually did have the same amount of game time as Pereira. And I'd give him a 5. Just flat 5. He just...
Another player got hung out.
There was no creativity there for him. Not really much space for him to move in. He just ineffective, innit?
Express yourself.
Yeah.
That's what Ollie said.
5, so 5 for him. Lingard, I literally
You know
forgot
what?
he came
does
on.
not even deserve a 5, mate. Not even a 5. I wouldn't even give him a 5. I gave him a 3.
Are you sure? I mean, I don't know. Just because obviously he didn't play well, yeah. But I mean, he kind of didn't get a lot of. Okay, fair.
What would you give?
I just don't want to do the whole scapegoating thing.
He's not saying he come on and was awful. He's just saying he didn't really do anything.
No, he
to worry.
didn't. He didn't. No, he didn't. I'll leave it as a flat 5. He was still crap.
The best he did was shout at the referee.
I feel like Mars got a bit of sentiment. He's like, nah, come on, just allow it a bit.
no sentiment.
Allow it a bit. Yeah, but it's not about agendas though. It's true. Well, a 4 then, a 4 or a 5. It's not my. I didn't really notice. Was there a third substitution
Sure.
Yeah, Shaw came on.
for Brandon Williams?
What was the need for that?
I didn't get it.
Tell me what was the need for
I
that.
haven't seen
What we could've done is-
press conference, but I don't know if Williams is injured or something. But
I said you take off Matic or Fred. I don't care who it is. You take off someone and you bring on Gomez or Delo and you bring an attacking threat. What do? You bring in a left back. When really Burnley did get out there that second half, you couldn't even took a centre back out. Let's be real out here. You could have took a centre back out, put Harry Maguire up front or someone, and just let's do something, man. Let's do long ball tactics. I don't know, man.
yeah,
Well, he didn't put footing wrong, so 5.
agree with that. Easy, right? And that leads us on to finally Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's
Zero, mate.
He's played against Burnley with a chance to close the gap. We've had
Zero.
0.
0. Time's done, mate. Pack your bags. Back to Norway.
Harsh words from Saeed. Would you give?
No, 0. Oh, 0, NA, all of that, dash, whatever you want to call it. Burnley are not the best footballing side in the world. You know, they're going to sit back. You know, they're going to pump long balls, and they've got strong physical guys. Adapt. You cannot adapt. You play the same 4-3-3. You know, they're not a ball playing team, and then for some reason you've got two central or defensive midfield players. Okay. You need to learn to adapt. You're
0. There you have it. Some big ratings today. It's always going to be low ratings because we've lost at home to Burnley. When does that ever happen? It's embarrassing today. Shocking. But we roll on to the next game. It could be Tranmere, it could be Watford. I hope it's Watford because I ain't got that far to travel.
I hope it's Tranmere.
I know, because it's embarrassing. Watford, you know, they're struggling, but they're going to make a lot of changes. But knowing us, we're capable of losing to Watford's under-23s if they put them out, which is equally as embarrassing as going to Tranmere and losing to them. So we don't know, but yeah, I think it's either or, whatever. But for just personal reasons, I'd rather not have to drive all the way up to Tranmere.
We need signings, mate.
Yeah, we do. Guys.
We're going to Wembley, don't worry.
Tony says we're going to win. We're going to win the FA Cup. Don't you worry about it. Well, he didn't say we're going to win, so we might go to Wembley for a semi-final or something and then lose. Maybe he means that. I don't know. But we'll see you guys at the next game at the FA Cup, wherever that may be. I want to say keep the faith, guys. Keep going. But tough times and even tougher times to come. Hopefully, by the time we speak to you next, we would have signed Bruno Fernandes.
You get out.
All right, peace. Let's get out of here. Big thank you to you guys for watching the latest of our videos. And if you want to check out more, make sure you do that just to the right of me. We are the biggest and best Manchester United channel in the world. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials as well. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. The socials are along the bottom. Peace.